Hello. Hey, it's 20 minutes before 9 on a Tuesday evening. And just to have something to talk about, I thought, well, maybe I was talking to Thelma the other day, and I said, I need to get a new hobby. Yeah, I got enough hobbies. I'm not a collector, though. Anyway, something I got into about 5 years ago was ham radio. I read an article that said I could get into it pretty cheap and pretty quick, and you have to take a test and get a license, and it takes more than a teaspoonful of brains to do that, but I got a couple of teaspoons full of brains, so I managed to accomplish that. And I started out with just a little Baofeng UV5R. It's pretty much the bottom of the barrel for ham radio, amateur radio. And I bought a kit for about 40 bucks, included a longer antenna and an extra battery and so on and so forth. And I started out with that. And I still have it. That's the radio I started with. Still works. I use it pretty much as a scanner these days because these little Baofengs, they're, a lot of ham radio operators joke about them because they're so cheap. But, you can buy 3 or 4 of them for the price of some other more classy names, and they do so much more. Anyway, ham radio isn't what it was 5 years ago. Some of our repeaters have gone digital, and that ties up the airwaves for people that actually want to talk on the radio like me. I don't care about digital. Anyway, and since then, actually before I got my ham license, I got a GMRS, General Mobile Radio Service license, because I had some walkie-talkies that Thelma bought me that we use when we go hunting. And on high power, they're powerful enough to need a license, so I got a license. I think I paid $75 or $80 for that license for 10 years, something like that. But I heard people on the radio, on the GMRS radio, which is what these little walkie-talkies that you buy at Walmart and the little blister packs and all that. That's GMRS or FRS, which is the family radio service, which they all share 22 channels, so to speak, in the UHF frequency range, ultra-high frequency. Anyway, I had my GMRS license before I got my ham license, but I was listening to people, and there were obviously people out there talking on repeaters, which is similar to a cell phone tower. It receives a signal and then broadcasts it stronger over a bigger footprint, so you have more range than just talking radio to radio, which is simplex. Talking through a repeater is duplex. Anyway, my little radios aren't repeater capable. And it wasn't until I got into ham radio and got my little Baofeng that I realized, oh, now I can use this, even though it's not FCC approved, so don't tell anybody. Anyway, I could use that for GMRS. And you can set it so that it doesn't break the laws, even though the radio itself isn't FCC approved. You can set the rating, the power, and so on, or just avoid using certain channels. Anyway, I don't want to run out of time here. But GMRS, you may want to look into that. It's a great communication system. Here in the state of Maine, we have repeaters from York County, which is extreme southern Maine, all the way up to Presque Isle in Aroostook County, that are linked together. We've got one in Woodstock, which is western Maine, which is the closest one to us. We've got one in Gray, we've got one in Portland. They're all linked. So if you hit one of them, you're talking across the state. It's really cool. In fact, I talked with one of my sisters who lives about 75 miles from here, as the highway goes. She and I could actually communicate from the repeater in Woodstock. We both have line of sight access to that repeater. GMRS, General Mobile Radio Service. Look it up. See about getting today you can get a license for $35 that is good for 10 years, that is good for anybody in your family, your parents, your kids, your grandkids, um, anybody like that, not cousins. Cousins aren't included. Anyone in your immediate family line can use that, the same license. So it's worth investigating. Just throwing that out there for you. Something to do. It doesn't cost a lot. Like I said, 25, $30, you can get a Baofeng that will do the job. A lot of people use that on GMO. Check it out.